Hey there, everybody. How you doing? Dave Fenoy here. Another Wednesday and another Ask Dave Fenoy Anything. And if you're looking past me, behind me, yes, this is not my studio. I had a flood in my studio a couple of months ago. And along with the rains, a pipe burst in my basement. Took a little while to get the insurance to pay up. But none of the equipment was damaged, but the floor and one of the walls just ruined. Had to take up a bunch of carpet, and there's mold behind some drywall, and it's taken me this long to move the studio equipment upstairs. And so now we're getting ready to redo my studio. And when I do, I'll show you some of the along the way pictures. If I took a picture right now, it's just a bunch of mess and boxes. You know what? I'll take a picture. We'll keep track of that. Anyway, all the Ask Dave Fenoys live on my YouTube channel at Dave Fenoy Voiceover Training. If you are interested in taking voiceover lessons with me, davefenoy.com. Hit the Study VO tab at the top. And by the way, I just want to say thank you and a salute to Jim Frank, who helped me put together the new and improved davefenoy.com. My website was kind of a mess. I wasn't keeping up with it as well as I could. And Jim took a look, shook his head, said, "You need some help, my friend." And I said, "Yeah, I know." And for a few weeks now, we've been working on that, and it's up and running. If you're somebody who is taking lessons with me right now, you can't go to the old site and schedule, but you can schedule directly with me. But you're going to love it. Please stop by, kick the tires, take it for a test drive. And looking forward to hearing your comments, and sign up and you'll find out about where I'm going to be, when I'm teaching, what I'm teaching. And a reminder about Ask Dave Fenoy Anything every week. Also, my Twitter, or X now, is at Dave Fenoy VO. Was that enough? I think that was enough. Let's say hello to my guest. Ordinarily, I see this guy in the chat with you guys. I also see him when I'm going to, VO Atlanta and things like that. But now we're going to see him with me, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Terry Briscoe. And Terry, welcome. Now, you're kind of a quiet, unassuming kind of a guy, or at least that's my impression of you. Is that correct?
I'm what you would call an omnivert. Like, I'll play the background more. I can play well with others, but, more so quiet than loud.
Yeah. But you always show up. You're always here. You always have great questions. And now I hope I have some great questions for you. I see you're in your studio. It kind of tells me some of the things you like. Is that a manly microphone you got there?
No, this one right here is an NT1. And
the one behind you.
Oh, no. That right there is a limited edition AT 2020 Chrome.
Okay. Looks a lot like the manly.
It does.
Yeah. We're talking about your studio. Besides, lots of this, that, and the other, and recording in progress sign that you can hang on the door. Is this a Rode, your microphone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Great mic. When you're starting out, Rode NT1, don't get the NT1A. NT1.
I tell you all the time.
So I've got questions for you now instead of you having questions for me or my guest. So how did you get started in the voiceover? You know what? We're going to go back before that. I want to know about your rap career.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a career, but I had some fun when I was in college.
Okay.
I had a group of close friends, and I say some of these guys, man, like, were actually pretty much all of them were like really dope MCs. And I came in And I have a completely different voice than everyone else, as we all do. But mine was like this is when the Wu-Tang Clan was first coming out, busting on the scene, really doing it big. And I got kind of a Method Man kind of low register with a little grumble to it, and that was kind of like my niche. And so yeah, but the leaders of the I'm like, man, oh, these guys were amazing, producing the music, KRS-One type style, boom bap. It was fantastic, man. It was really fun.
But you didn't get your big contract?
No, we didn't get the big contract because we had disagreements as to which way to take the group amongst ourselves. I was more like, let's get out there and do this. They were more like, we want to keep it more underground. And I was like, why can't we do both? But, we had to part ways on that.
That's a funny thing about bands. I was in bands for a long time, and my comment has always been, bands are like a marriage. Very few people are you going to have as intimate a relationship as with somebody you're married to and people that you're putting music together with. Everybody has an idea and an ego. And sometimes you just can't get along, even when you're successful. Think about all our favorite bands that are broken up, and you wonder, why did they break up? They were doing so well. Well, it happens. So your rap career, unfortunately, fizzled thanks to these other rappers that just didn't see your vision. So what was next for you? You got out of college. What brought you to voiceover and theater and acting?
Well, I got out of college, and then I still stayed in the Baltimore area working multiple jobs around. I used to work at the Rainforest Cafe in Towson Town Center. It was actually a really good time doing that. I learned while I was in the Army before I went to college. So while I was in the Army, I was in the reserves, and I learned how to cook in the Army. And I was a diet tech at Walter Reed Hospital for a few years. So I took that skill and went into the kitchen and cooked. And I'm a personable guy, I'm not, like I said, I'm not an overly chase you down the street kind of guy, but I am definitely a very approachable person. And I used those skills in the retail sector. I worked at Harry and David in the same mall, so I went from one job to the other job and then caught the bus home. And
these days it's the American way. How many jobs do you have? We're all Jamaican, man. I got 5 jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I did, because I was still in the reserves at the time as well. So I was literally working 3 jobs, and so I flunked out of college, didn't get my degree, and then I was like, you know what? Why am I still here?
So wait a minute, because you're not stupid. So I know it wasn't that. Were you just?
Oh man, yes, I smoked a lot of weed, man. I smoked a lot of weed. But it was that dang statistics class. I was a psych major and a mass communications minor, and I've never failed a class in any level of my life, in any education level, but I could not pass the statistics class. The behavioral.
Did you give it 100% effort?
Dave, I even took the night course where it was only like 7 to 8 people in the class, man.
You know what? I'm going to say I understand. I'm a pretty bright guy, but there's some things that right over my head. And one of the only things I still agree with my ex-wife about is that we all have a different kind of genius. There's some things that each and every person are going to do, and they're going to do well, as a matter of fact, excel at. And then there are going to be some other things. And that was just one of your other things. So you're doing all these jobs. You're out of college now, scratching your head, damn statistics. When did you start acting? When did you start deciding to do voiceover?
Voiceover itself was something that I never tied the two together, that voiceover was acting, right? I remember being a little kid. Like I tell the story all the time, laying under I used to watch cartoons under the coffee table in front of the big TV in the living room of my house with the fireplace sitting there, on the brick fireplace.
When you were small enough to get under the coffee table.
Small enough to get under the coffee table. And I remember just imitating everyone. And it was Optimus Prime, obviously. And The Sound of the 70s commercials, which
The Sound of the 70s. Oh,
I know
damn.
somebody who's real familiar with that.
Yeah, I am.
I've literally been imitating you since I was a child.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I hear that a lot, and it is both gratifying and painful.
Well, I'm approaching that age right now myself, so I'm getting there right now where I feel like, oh
Okay,
yeah.
so we discover, and you're an on-camera actor as well, on stage as well.
No stage. I've been in 4 movies. So the story with that is I was working at a liquor store and in as a part-time job for the benefits, because in my county that's a government job. So I was like, it's very cushy. You get paid a lot of money and you get all the benefits.
To help those alkies be alkies.
Exactly. Exactly.
Government work.
Lend a helping hand. So it's a lot of downtime in the job. So I'm reading. I had taken voiceover training already, and from Tim Powers, and a book that he assigned me was to read voiceover voice actor by Tara Platt and Yuri Lowenthal. And I was reading it at the register. Just sitting there, and then this guy comes in, and we're all masked up. It's COVID time. We're all masked up, and the guy, he's like, oh man, he's real, friends with some of the people on the staff. And he's like, you're an actor. Like I said, I hadn't really completely grasped the fact that.
What was your answer? Did you just say, why, yes, I am?
I was like, kind of. It's like, kind of, right? So he was like, you're a voice actor, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, you're an actor. And I was like, I've been told this by a bunch of different people, but having a person, he was like, well, I'm an actor. And I was like, oh, really? Of course you are, right? Of course you are. Everybody's an actor. So he gives me his information, but he didn't have his card. So he gave me on a little piece of paper, and I lost it. So he comes into the store. Of course I did. So he comes into the store.
You never lost that piece of paper from the girl in the club, though?
Never.
That napkin. She wrote it on the ink, and your little pen on the back of your hand, all that.
All that. Was that a 3 or an 8? Is that a 3? I can't.
Or
so
5.
He comes back in the store the next time, but he had or 5. Yeah. So he comes back and he has his card the next time. So has his IMDb on it. So I look his IMDb up. I was like, oh, damn it. This dude was in Batman. It's like he was in The Dark Knight. I was like, oh, no. Oh, Lord. Okay. So I hadn't gotten my demos back at that point. I had trained, but I hadn't gotten my demos back. So I hit him. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. I was like, would you mind if I contact you when my demos are done? Because he did some voice acting on the side as well. And I was like, can I contact you when my demo's done? He's like, absolutely. Sure. His name's Bruce Allen Dawson. I contact him. He's like, that's pretty damn good, man. You mind if I give this to somebody? He's like, give it to everybody. So he gives it to this local director. And name's June DeGiso. And he had a movie that he was shooting the next month. He calls me 2 days later, and he's like, I want you to be in this movie. And I'm like, you want me to be in a movie? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll be guy number 2, standing somewhere, just, looking like this or something,
They went that away.
He gave me 9 lines in the movie. And wow. I'm like, I had never been an actor in any.
Most actors, their first thing is an under 5.
Yeah. So it was amazing that I actually got that role, and then I proceeded to do 3 more movies with them. The funny story is, so the second one that I got was, the character was actually supposed to be played by a white guy, and his name was Jimmy Crow.
His name was what?
His name was Jimmy Crow.
Okay.
So having to replace that actor, I had to come in and I had to just be this asshole. Like, it was just, I had to just be basically like a Tom. I had to basically be like a complete Tom. And it was so out of pocket for me to be that way, because I'm definitely not like that. Anyone tell you I'm not like that. But he was like sexually harassing this woman, Shivani Guys. And that is 100% not my personality at all.
Now,
and I was
did you have a problem playing that character, getting into character?
I did have trouble playing that character, not being a jerk to the people who I was being a jerk to in the movie, but being like the kind of guy that like walks up to a woman real close and just like harasses her and just like looks her up and down, like that boss that just sexually harasses his employee. I wasn't comfortable being that, and then she just pulls me aside and she was like, "You're acting, just do it." I was like, all right, if you're cool with it. I said, if you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. All right, cool. And we knocked it out. We knocked it out of the park. And that is the role that I got my best supporting actor in the DMV area award for. Yeah. So thanks to her, thanks to Francisco Anderson, his movie, and thanks to June DeGuiso, who's the director.
So basically, you got this acting career because you were working in a liquor store.
Yeah. Yep. Just dishing out Henny.
There are a lot of people that are watching and listening now that are pulling their hair out. They've gone to school, they've taken classes, headshots over and over, demos, and it's all right. It's all right. There's still hope for all of us. So you've gotten your demos done, and what was your first voiceover job?
My very first voiceover job was cast by my voiceover coach, Tim Powers. We have this group called the Mic Droppers, and he takes his students that he feels, will do something in this business. And we are grouped together and we support each other. And sometimes we have casting calls in there. And he just so happened to have a casting call for a video game that he was doing in China. So he put it out there to everybody. So everybody auditioned for it. And the client chose me.
Oh, so, excellent.
The very first thing I auditioned for in voiceover.
And that's that character Bach.
No. This was a game. This game never got released. Oh. This game never got released. That came later. Yeah.
Kind of like some movies out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So now, what was the experience of that first job like, having never done it before, and it's a video game?
You know what? It was amazing because not only was it my first paying job, my first job period, but I was working with the guy in Beijing. So my first job was an international job where I'm getting up at, it's like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Crack of dawn. And I'm playing a soldier, right? So they got the camera on me, and I come up to my part, and I play the guy named Captain Lovell, and I have my little Apple pen in there, and I got my pen in my hand. I'm doing like this when I'm doing my lines. So I'm like actually acting it out. I wore my camouflage shirt, so they were like, "You really in?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was really in." And you could actually tell the character. It was great. Yeah, it was.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you. Sometimes when we're voice acting, or we will have an approach, and people think, "Oh, I've got to stay in front of this microphone and not move." And nothing could be further from the truth. And the more you allow that physicality to come through, the more that character is going to come through.
Absolutely.
Now, had somebody told you that, or this just happened, or you were reverting back to being, an 8-year-old kid playing cops and robbers and soldiers and stuff?
It was a combination of playing and the coaching that I got from Tim Powers. They definitely
there you go.
Laid it all out there.
You have turned out to be a fixture on Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. You always have great questions.
Thank you.
And I've run into you at so many conventions. What got you on the convention train and really just immersing yourself in voiceover training, not necessarily paid, but all these things that you can do?
Well, the very first thing I did when I dipped my toe in voiceover was I went online and I found every single free thing that people were giving advice, were hosting, like your show. Like
that's advice I give.
Yeah, well, I did it before I got you, brother.
Okay, well, it's great, and that would be advice from you to people who are trying to do this.
Without question. As a matter of fact, that is exactly the advice, because people now, from, I guess I'm a little bit visible now. That's literally what they say. What do you do? I was like, go to every single free thing that is hosted wherever you have access to, and listen to the questions people ask, listen to the answers, and like actually soak it in. Don't just be there, like be engaged. Like he said, I ask questions every week. He's probably like, oh, this guy again. Oh, this guy, he just won't leave me alone. So I'm like, you know what? Nope, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be here next week too. So until I don't have any more questions, I'm gonna come.
What was the stupidest question that you thought you asked? It might not have been stupid, but you felt like, should I ask this?
I'm not gonna go into who gave me the answer, because it's a really big time person. But on one of the Facebook pages, I asked. I hadn't trained in character yet, right? In fact, now I still haven't trained in character, even though I've been on shows where I've done characters.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just something that was, I have that natural ability to do it, but not at that level. So I was very, very new, and I went on there on their site, and I was like, "How many voices should you do for a character demo?" And then everybody just put on a big old combat boot and just stomped me out in the chat because I said the word voices, not characters. And I was really in my feelings, man. I'm not gonna lie, I was really in my feelings because like the first person that responded to me was like a big time dude, man. And I was just like,
sounds like a Bob Bergen answer.
So yeah, so I didn't know. I didn't know, right? I didn't mean it that way. I wasn't gonna go up there and imitate Tweety Bird and I was gonna come up with original characters. I just didn't know you had to say that they were characters. I was that new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and you know what? Really, people should be forgiven when they're new, thinking that certain words are interchangeable. But language is important. And the person who said that to you really was trying to help you.
Yes.
Because the truth is, it's not just a voice. It is a character with a history, with a life, with things they love, things they don't like, things they're afraid of, so forth and so on. So,
the response that got me so much, it was the piling on that came afterwards. People who were supposedly there to help you, and it was just like everybody just kept kicking me, and I'm like, okay, cool. But I got past it.
He's down. Let's kick him some more. So at some point, you became a voice for Paul Masson Brandy. What was that?
Yeah, that was actually an agent that I got that through. They had.
Do you still have that agent?
Yes, I do. That was in your market. That was in Ohio.
Oh. Well, it's not my market, but it is where I grew up.
Well, that's what I mean. It was in your hometown market. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was one of those things where I was the guy, and this is my wheelhouse because everybody that knows me, I grill. That's what I do. I post some pictures. We do some things. We in that little that group where we do the VO chefs. We do some things. So I was in my comfort zone. I was the guy, man. I was the nephew manning the grill. So my uncle comes over to me, and I'm like, Uncle Frank, what's happening? And he, of course, he has his Paul Masson Brandy, and I'm like, what you got for me, man? So he's got the Paul Masson glass upstairs, so I'm standing behind the grill with my Paul Masson. Good to go.
Okay. And let's see, what else have you been up to? Now, you won some awards. I was looking at your resume here. The National MS Society's Pathways to Cures campaign. What got you involved with MS?
Well, it's pretty well known throughout most of the industry now that I actually have MS. I was diagnosed when I was 37 years old. Yeah, that's yep. And this go back to the conference. Actually, these questions tie together. They were the first person when I got diagnosed. I was running across the street. I try to make the story short. I was running across the street, and I fell in the street. Like my legs just gave out on me in the middle of the street, and I had to like low crawl to the median, right? And eventually, it calmed down, and I was like, well, that's weird. What was that? And so I go to the doctor. I just had a tooth removed. I thought I had nerve damage. He's like, no, you need to go see the doctor. At this point in time, I was a transit bus driver. So
a lot of jobs.
He's like, you need to go to. Yeah, that was like, yeah, well, that's a whole different story. But it being the type of job where I had people's lives in my hands, I was like, I need to make sure my health is where it needs to be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I actually go to the neurologist, and we don't go to the doctor, Dave. You know this. So I'm like, all right, I got to go though. And the doctor immediately, I know a lot of people, it takes years or decades sometimes to get a diagnosis of MS, but she knew immediately. And I didn't actually have it at that point in time. But she was like, this is something called transverse myelitis. So I got that first. And she was like, I got diagnosis of that first. And then they took me to the hospital when I had the lovely spinal tap, which is, yeah, that's really fun. I don't advise it for anyone ever. Unless you need it, find out what's
Unless you
wrong with
have
you.
to have it.
Exactly. So I get a specialist. He puts me on this diet and I lose like 36 pounds. You see, I'm not a gigantic dude. I was right around 200 pounds though. And my whole life, I always wanted to be 200 pounds. I'm 5'9", 200. That's a running back. It's good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I get put on this diet and then I lose 36 pounds in like 2 months.
Wow, what was the diet? Let me write that down.
Well, it's called the Swank MS diet. Yeah. So a year, because I hadn't got, you got to get you have to have a certain amount of lesions before you can get a diagnosis. The next year, I got the amount of lesions.
I am very familiar with it. My wife has had MS since she was 20.
I didn't know that.
And her doctor has wanted to make her the poster child because she's still walking around and doing things these few decades later. They told her she'd never have children. All kinds of things.
They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. Like,
it's the practice of medicine, not the perfection of medicine. Learning more and more and more, but we could talk about what's wrong with our medical society at another time, in the pharmaceuticals, and how the doctors don't teach us how to be healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so in reference to the story, I didn't know anything about MS at all, and I asked the doctor how long I was going to live, because I thought Richard Pryor was the only thing I knew. So I thought, oh wow, that was a pretty rapid. Once he got the diagnosis, it was a pretty rapid downfall for him.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, how long I need to shore up? I need to make sure all my T's are crossed and all my I's are dotted. How long do I have to live? And she was like, it's not necessarily work that way. So contact these people. And she gave me information to go to the MS Society. And so I got educated through the MS Society, but I had bills. So I had to quit my doctor told me to quit my job when I was 37 years old. So my bills were just piling up while I waited for Social Security. It was piling up. I was using credit cards, and I was paying them with credit cards. And I was like, I had this electric bill that was like $500. And I was maxed. I contacted them, and they had some kind of plan. They were like, we pay bills that are like, you can't pay. They paid that bill for me. They paid that electric bill for me and my family, and I was like so eternally grateful. I just stored that away. So when I started doing voiceover, I reached out to them immediately, and I was like, I'm not asking you guys to pay me. I'm just trying to give back to you for what you've done for me. It just so happens this woman, Laura Vaughn Pemberton, she called me. She was like, we have a campaign that we're about to launch right now. And it's like for the next generation of MS research, medications, and, just information. And I was like, sign me up. I'll do whatever you need me to do. And so I became the male voice of that. And they gave me the Inspiration Award for that work that I did for them.
Well, bravo. And thank you for sharing that story with us, because what's the old saying? We don't know what other people are going through. Be kind, because everybody has some issues you just don't know about. I didn't know about, but every time I've seen you, you've shown up. Big smile, big hello. Life is good. And
thank you. Oh man, I was hurting in Atlanta too, man.
Oh.
Said about that flight. I don't know what it was, man, but yeah, I was hurting, man. But seeing you, man, it was like really raised my spirits. And of course, Frank. Like, you can't be down around Frank.
You can't be down when Jim Frank's in town. Oh boy, let's see. I got a question for you from Todd Lush. Question for Terry. What is your secret to getting that luscious beard? Come on, it's voiceover. I know we're having a good time, but you ain't going to get a beard like that. Or like this.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Shea butter, baby.
is it egg whites or...
I got something I'll put you on to. I'll tell you that later.
Well, just a comment here. Let's see. Jeff Younger, we're rooting for you, Mr. Briscoe.
Thanks, Jeff.
Stephanie Mara Johnson, just learned something new about Terry. Well, that's why we're here. It's supposedly Ask Dave Fenoy anything, but you'll find out a bunch of stuff from other people.
Love you, Steph.
And somebody who felt your pain, Nevin Stoltz. I'm a bright guy, but college didn't agree with me. Yeah.
Nevin is a bright guy.
Yeah. You know what? And I understand that. I was always one of those students that didn't work particularly hard, but if I heard it, I knew it.
Yes.
And I could coast without doing much work and get B's. And if I applied any effort, I got A's. So I got mostly B's. And, sometimes I feel like, wow, I wish I'd been more motivated to work hard. Well, we all have regrets.
You're the best job in the world.
We all have some regrets. My life is wonderful. And
Absolutely.
yet, you still sometimes look back and you go, gosh, I wish I had done this. I could have done that.
True.
But that just makes me human. So
Absolutely.
What's the biggest mistake you made when you got into the voiceover biz?
Biggest mistake I made when I got into the voiceover biz. Oh, wow.
The thing that you said, oh man, if I had only done this thing different, I could have got my start much sooner.
Start? No. Progress, yes. I didn't market myself for the first 2 years at all. Because I just didn't know that was part of the game. And I should, because I know Mark's got, and I asked questions there too, but I didn't do it. I didn't think I had enough marketable material.
What was the story you told yourself when it crossed your mind, maybe, or you saw somebody else's marketing, when you saw that and you thought about, maybe I should, what was the story you told yourself as to why you didn't?
I don't want to do marketing. It's not fun. I want to do, I want to do characters, and I want to do, the fun stuff, man. And that's what we came for, right? That's what we came for.
And let me assure you, I understand that. I'm not a person that is a natural marketer, that is a natural pat myself on the back and, hey, everybody, here I am, hire me, aren't I wonderful?
Right.
There's a certain belief in me at the core that your work should speak for itself.
Yes.
But
yes,
I have learned, and I'm glad you're learning it as well, you got to let people know that you're there. I mean, we're in a business, when we're doing advertising, we are that message helping that product market. And so much of it isn't necessarily saying, hey, I'm great. A lot of it is just, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. Recently, Damon Allums told me that after at Atlanta, like, how they gonna hire you if they don't know you're here? And Tremaine Mosley this week said the very same thing. That's like, wow. I was in Facebook post, and I was like, you know what? Yep. Yeah, how they gonna hire you if they don't know who you are?
So now, what have you been doing? What have you been doing to market yourself?
I have been emailing. I've actually been doing some cold calling. I have marketed to production companies. I'm under agents already, so that wasn't the thing. That was actually, that's not true. I did market myself to agents the first year. Mm-hmm. That's what I did. That's what I didn't understand that. I thought it was the old school where you get agent, you're good. You didn't need to market yourself individually, right? That's what I thought.
But no, especially now, we're living in when I got in the business, I was advised to get a lot of cassettes done, and before that it was quarter-inch reel.
Mm-hmm.
But get a bunch of those made that you could send out to broadcast producers and various people that might hire you for numerous things. But it was a list that your agent gave you. It's a whole different world now. So how do you find the people you market to?
I have taken several courses now, so I know that I'm supposed to be trying to find instructional design. I've now trained in e-learning, so I'm supposed to find instructional designers, and I'm on several rosters. I'm on several rosters for audiobooks, your favorite.
I know. I saw in your bio said you've done 3. I said, oh, me too. But you didn't add, I hope to never do a 4th like I do.
I hope to never edit one. That's what I don't mind doing the book. I don't mind doing the book. Just don't want to edit it ever. That's not my thing, and I just passed that assignment.
And that is one of the big open doors right now, audiobooks, for people who want to get into voiceover. And you actually have to be very good to do audiobooks.
You know what's crazy? My first audiobook, I had 1 month to do it, and it was a 300+ page book, right?
Wow.
And I didn't have an opportunity to read the book before I did it because it was a month. So I had to narrate and edit it because I didn't even know an editor at that point in time. So I had to narrate and edit a book in 1 month, and having never done it before.
Oh, and by the way, thinking about editing, what's your recording software?
What's my what?
Recording software. Are you?
I use Audition.
Oh, okay, good one. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to check in with some people. Like often when you're in the chat room, let's see. Damon Allums, yo, big bro in the house from Maine. Kendrick Mosley, what's good? Oh, and then there's Trey. Damon Allums, I'm good, bro. What's business? And he's got a message for you. Terry Briscoe, proud of you, man. Glad we got to meet at VOA. Actually, one of the things I love is seeing the back and forth and the hellos and how you doing, because it lets me know the VO community is strong and caring about one another. Grace Newton, one of your VO pals. Terry, is there a genre of VO you haven't pursued that you would like to?
Ooh, that's my girl too, by the way, man. Love some Grace, man. An area of VO that I haven't delved into. Promo is definitely tops on that list. I have taken courses, and I'm waiting on somebody.
Who'd you work with in promo?
I took I've taken several webinars. I took Joe Sips with the 10 Joe Sip.
Dave
I took
Noy seal of approval.
Don Cornetz.
Dave Noy seal of approval.
Absolutely. Let's see. I took Jack Daniels.
Dave Noy seal of approval.
And I did a fight club with Brent Hagel.
Okay. Oh, yes, I know Brent. And again, don't know him well, but hell of a talent. Hell of a talent. Yeah. I got another little message for you, Catherine J. Jarvie. Love you, Terry Briscoe. Oh,
love you.
You
back.
are a loved brother. And somebody, Terry, always asking the pressing questions. You do. Let's see what Shell has to say. Terry Briscoe, love that you are so humble with amazing talent. Your persona is warm, welcoming, I want to say quiet spirit, but not in the shadows, not pulling away. Let's see. Damon again. See, the veterans stay curb stomping rookies with intelligent questions with the strong vocabulary. It's not a good look. So what are you working on now? Oh, you know what? I want to mention this. I just redid my website, or I should say Jim Frank just redid my website, and I
Looks good.
understand he touched yours as well.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. When I met Jim Frank. It's like I took him. We were, we were really good friends, and he knows how to do that. And I had one of those cut and paste websites, man. Like I was just like, it had the basic form what I wanted, how I wanted it though, but the pictures were blurry. Everything wasn't centered or squared, and it was like I didn't know how to make any of it pop. And then last year he was like, "All right, you're gonna come over here to this particular website holder, and I'm gonna hook it up how it's supposed to look. Like I'm gonna take what you came up with, but I'm gonna make it like you want it to actually be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to put some vision in there as well. And God, my site looks awesome. I don't
Well,
know.
I have been telling him that this could be a little business for him. He did a really good job on mine. He was very circumspect about everything. So I don't know, Jim Frank, you're looking to get some work done on your website, I'd check him out.
Highly advised.
Let's see. Catherine Jade again. My mom has MS too, Terry, and I've always learned new things about it tonight. Thank you for being authentic and vulnerable about it.
You're welcome.
Question from Damon Allums. When a commercial can actually touch on a tender family reunion moment, it's amazing. Well done, Paul. No, okay. I thought it was going to be a question, but it was just a pat on the back. Well, another pat on the back. Excellent. That's really something. Hard times turned into triumph. Much respect, Terry. I'm just going to say that for so many of us is a story. Now, some of our hard times weren't as hard as some others, but don't be surprised that once you get started in this business, that it's not just up, 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 up. Life has a way of smacking you from time to time. You just got to be resilient. You just have to figure out a way to rescue yourself and know that those things that aren't working for you, it's not going to be that way always. Good question from Catherine. Terry Briscoe, what is the moment you are most proud of so far in your career?
Wow. Geez, that's a tough one. The moment that I'm most proud, I gotta say, okay, so I went to Dallas to the MS Summit, the MS Leadership Summit, and I know I had done the thing, right? And I had never seen it in the wild ever. Like I've seen it on their website, but never So we all go in when they're doing the presentations for everything, and I'm sitting in one of the front tables because they have all the awardees in the front tables, and the place goes dark, and they play the video on the big screen before they do the ceremony. And so I'm sitting there like, that's me. That's crazy. So I gotta say, I've had some really, really proud moments, but yeah,
I can tell just thinking about it, you're right back there.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm a little choked up, but I'm a little choked up.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. In this business, part of our job is to sell products that perhaps we wouldn't use, get people to watch TV shows that maybe we won't, go to movies that we're not interested in. But there are times that you really get to do some work that is really not just I'm an actor delivering this message, but I'm this human being who feels this, who this touches me. And I'm sure that's one of those moments. And when we have those opportunities, it's just amazing. Got a question from, have we heard of this guy, Jim Frank, before? Terry, what's your favorite thing about being friends with Jim Frank? Asking for a friend. Damn you, Frank. Damn you. And he did it 3 times in a row. Oh, boy. Oh, LC Brodus. Terry, what did you learn while adapting your space to your current home studio? Any aspect?
Oh, man, there's been so many evolutions in this. This is not even my original booth. as I've been doing voiceover for less than 2.5 total years, and this is my second booth. The first one I built it out of Owens Corning, the hard 4-inch insulation,
Mm-hmm.
and I just used those as the walls. So I built a little
Who
box.
gave you that idea?
It was just this guy on YouTube, man. And if anyone, I can't pull it up right, but if anyone wants to hit me and ask me about findings, I would gladly send it to you because it
How well
served
did
me.
it work?
I did 2 audiobooks in it. I did the National MS Society commercial in it. I did my demo in it. I mean, yeah, so it served me well, man. So I paid like for under $600,
Oh, okay.
including phone. Yeah. Served me well.
Oh,
No construction, tape, and Owens Corning board. That's it.
Well, my studio is asunder just at the moment, but I don't think that's the route I'm going. But I'm glad it worked for you. Oh boy. Let's see. I saw another question here. Let's see. Is this DF Raisin Terry? What hurdles did you have to get over in the beginning in your efforts to get into this business?
I mean, the money is always a big deal, right? I signed up for one of these programs where it was like $6,000 and you get the 2 demos and all of the stuff. And then I was like, it was the
Let me ask you
pandemic, like I
this. Would
said.
you recommend that program?
I didn't go through with it.
Oh, okay. Okay. You were
I originally
offered it.
signed up, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then my conscience hit me, like, not my conscience, my intelligence hit me. And I was just like, I'm a breadwinner of a family and it's a pandemic. And I run a medical transportation company when people aren't going to the doctor. So
Maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe this isn't the time for that.
Maybe I'm okay. $1,000.
I'm glad we brought this up because we talk voiceover, we talk technique and that kind of thing. But especially if you're setting up a business as a voice actor and you're married and have 3 kids, 3 girls?
3 girls, yeah. And a granddaughter.
And a granddaughter. Wow. You ain't that old. I'm the one with the gray hair. What is that conversation like with your family? Was your wife on board? I know the kids, they just want milk and cereal and they're cool. But
my kids are a little older. They got teens now. They were like, when I got into this.
They're teenagers.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Different game.
Whole different game.
Very different game, yeah. But they were like, we think you can do it. You don't really know what you're doing, and I didn't. They weren't wrong, but I was like, I can learn. If I learn how to do that, I learn how to drive a bus, I learn how to cook, or like I can learn how to do this too.
And you know what? I think that's probably a great lesson for your kids. We always tell our kids, do what I say, but they're going to do what we do. So I think you're not all of it. Not that I'm talking about the stuff they see. They're going to do what they see. How you treat your wife and she treats you, that's what they're looking for in a man. That's who they're going to try to emulate as a woman. And we have to think of this. It's not just, I'm Dave Fennoy, voiceover guy. You're not just Terry Briscoe voice. You're living in your family. And clearly they must be supportive.
Well, 18 years later, here we go.
Here we go. But you haven't been doing the voiceover that long. This is still fairly new in your lifetime.
I'm still a babe in the woods at this point, voiceover wise. I mean, it's the truth. I've had some, like, I know a lot of people, it takes a long time for people to gain the type of success that I've had pretty quickly. And that's discouraging for some people, but it's right. A lot of it's right place, right time, and when you get those opportunities, be ready.
Well, and when you have that, what is luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm living proof.
Were you ready when that first movie was offered to you?
Was I ready? No. But what I do have going for me that a lot of that, some people are scared to do things, right? I grew up in a very bad neighborhood in DC in the 80s when DC was the murder capital of the world. So like,
Well,
and
Detroit, DC, Detroit, DC.
flip back and forth, like,
Yeah,
yeah, flip back and forth, absolutely. But either way, bad.
yeah, yeah.
It's bad. So I saw a lot of stuff as a child that, steeled me. Like I don't get nervous. Like that very first thing that I did for the video game in China, I'm sitting here, I'm being they're recording me, I'm doing this. I'm not nervous.
Yeah.
I think
No,
the first
nobody's gonna shoot me.
no one's gonna shoot me. Exactly.
There are no drive-bys in this thing.
Literally what I said. I was like, I've been shot at. What if I don't get the job? I don't get the job. I'll live. It's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting perspective. Interesting perspective. But once again, I also think that's part of that calm that you have, and the fact of MS. And you have to stay calm.
yeah, try, but I'm a hothead. I'm a Scorpio, man. I'm a hothead. Just,
So's my wife. So think about Scorpios and MS. But seriously, how you are feeling, what your emotions are, how upset you are about things, how angry you get or hurt is going to affect your MS.
It matters.
It matters. It matters. So there's a certain amount of self-control. Let's see. Let's pull up another question here. VO marketing back in the day, making tape copy was easy as pie, but making quarter-inch reel sounds like making Moses' 10 Commandments stone tablets to mail off. Clearly that was to me. It kind of was, but I was pretty good with quarter-inch tape, cutting block and a razor blade, and then you gotta tape it together. Mike Cunningham, let's see. Terry's looking pleasantly gelatinous this evening. So proud of you. Gelatinous.
We don't have enough time to go into that story.
I was going to say, this clearly is an inside joke. And forgive me for a moment. I got to open these curtains a little bit. I just set up this studio and I hadn't been in here in the dark. And as the sun's going down, the light's going, I'm getting darker and darker. Let's see. Comment here from Larry O'Blender. The second. Terry is a great dude, great listener, awesome perspectives.
Thank you, Larry. You are
too. And Jim Frank continues. Good question, and I think we all need an answer to this. I know what I do, but what do you do, Terry Briscoe, to relax? I know you can burn the food tip, but what are those things you do just to
Jeez, man, I'm still running 2 businesses, Dave.
You don't relax.
Don't relax. I don't relax at all. And when I come home, I jump in the booth. I got to get up in the morning time and usually take a trip. I come home, and then right when I get home, I try to find some kind of learning to do as far as like voiceover is concerned, and then jump into marketing, right? And then I do whatever I got to do at night. I'm actually taking a parenting class right now in the evening because you can always be better. So,
well, how old's your youngest?
My youngest is 16.
16, okay. Well, you're almost out of the woods.
Almost. Almost. But I don't want to be almost out of the woods. I want to get there.
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you, when my daughter went off to college, it was like, I
can breathe.
I love you, baby, but now you don't have to come home. No, I get a bad rep saying stuff like that. Cara and Terry, if you could do one genre of VO for the rest of your life, what would it be? And let's pretend all genres pay handsomely well.
Oh, man. That's probably the hardest question I'm answering because I have not niched down into anything, and I've done like 7 different areas of voiceover so far, and I really enjoy them. Like, I really, really enjoy them all. But having not done it, I can't say promo because I haven't booked a promo.
Mm-hmm.
I would say character.
Character work?
Yeah,
character work's a lot of fun. Probably promo when you're working steady is probably the most lucrative thing you can do unless you have multiple commercial campaigns going nationally on radio and television and so forth. But the industry finds you and decides what it wants from you in so many ways. Yes, we can take those classes, get our demos done, audition for those things, but the industry kind of, yes, we like you for this, we like you for that. I hope you have the same good fortune I've had, that the industry liked me for this for a while and didn't hate me, but I wasn't getting as much work. Oh, now it likes me for this. Now it likes me for this. And I've had a chance to do everything kind of all at once. Some things a little more at this part, some things a little more. And when I started, video games weren't a thing. What will be next that we can't conceive of now that might be a job for you? Let's see, Todd again. Question, Terry, if you could voice a superhero in an animated feature, who would you pick besides Batman? LOL. There's something behind that.
I guess he thinks I sound like Batman naturally. I guess. Like, wow. I'm gonna have to go with and take my man BZ Cullens' guy, and I'm gonna say Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. I am Optimus Prime.
Gotta go Optimus Prime, man.
Jim,
I don't know if it transforms as a superhero, but Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Just a question from Jim Wadsworth. In voiceover, such as animation in video games, what percentage of what would you say is union and how much of it is not? Do you have an answer for that?
No, because I am non-union, so I don't see all of the auditions. I only see some of them because I'm eligible, but not a member of the union.
Well, for a long time, none of the video games were union, and then just a few, and now more and more are. But we've been in a war of union and non-union since Ronald Reagan, and that what years were the late 80s?
Was it 83?
Yeah. We have fewer union workers across the board in jobs in the United States than we've ever had. We are just beginning to look the other way now. We're just beginning to say, wait a minute. So paying me less doesn't mean I'll make more? Which is why we're seeing the writer's strike, which is why we're seeing the actor's strike, which is why truck drivers, and there's some other industries that are talking about striking because the ownership class, they're making 400 or 500, 1,000 times more than the average worker, when 50 years ago it was, 30, 40 times.
Absolutely.
It's not a zero-sum game. That money had to come out of the pockets of middle class America. So I'm just going to say more and more jobs now in video games are union, but because it's an international market, not everybody is working through the American unions. So there's a lot. I think probably more non-union work out there than there is union. So, and I keep seeing year by year that they're finding more and more ways to pay us less and less.
They always do.
So it behooves us to, when we are able to join the union. It behooves us to become a part of NAVA, not just because you can find a health care plan that works. That's a great reason. But because we band together, because although we are not a union, we have discussions, we have information that we can talk about that is about voiceover. The union, we want to be in the union, but the union's not just about voiceover. NAVA is just about voiceover. Let's see here. We're getting close to the end. Richelieu Hoff Jr., sorry, I'm just getting in. Hey, Brother Terry, what genre of work are you booking the most? Good question.
It's the 3 audiobooks are the most numbers-wise what I've booked so far.
Oh, cool. And I've
been the board, you know what I mean? So it's the 3, 2,
my
1.
awe wasn't your answer. I wasn't paying attention to your answer. I was looking at this message here that I thought, Shelly Briscoe, she must be a relation. And
That
it
is my
says,
sister-in-law.
"Sis loves you, proud of you, love you." Aww.
Thanks, sis. Thanks for coming.
Always open to new possibilities. Shell, let's see. We're getting the last few things in here. Terry makes his own luck by being prepared and being available. Fortune smiles on those prepared to receive it. That's true. One of the things, you didn't word it this way, but I'm just going to word it this way. Say yes. Say yes
Yeah.
to things. Say yes to opportunities. Um, uh, a big yes moment for me years ago. I was trying to get into radio, and I'd been a continuity director, and there was a better job as a continuity director, but they asked me if I could write commercials. I had never written a commercial in my life, but I said yes. And it worked out really well for me. Let's see. Antonio Bustos. Terry is a great accountability buddy.
Tony!
He didn't let me give up even when I wanted to. Tell me that story about being an accountability buddy. I know we're a minute over, but dinner can wait.
That's it. That's my guy. I mean, he's literally my first accountability partner. He's in the group with me. He's not having immediate success as everyone wants it. And I was just like, he was just like, man, I don't know if this is for me, man. And I was like, well, I know that it's for you. If I know that it's for you, then you need to know that it's for you. You can't give up that easily. You can't give up that fast. You have the talent. I'm telling you, you have the talent. So you know you've got it. Do it. Hang in there. It's not going to happen as fast as you want it to happen. I've had to say this to multiple people. It's not going to happen as fast as you want it to happen. Keep grinding. It'll come.
A message I've given myself. DF Raisin, if you could go back, what advice would you give your younger self on getting into VO?
I would have done it when I was a younger self.
Of course, you would have had to have known about it when you were a younger self.
Exactly. Yep, I would have gone in way sooner. That would be just, I would have trusted my talent and I would have gone in way sooner.
Thank you, Karn Gilfrey. According to NAVA survey, it's about 80% non-union, 20% union, but it varies by genre. And like I said, we've been going down. And yes, it does vary by genre, but hopefully we can start to go up.
Yes.
But this is a mindset that's not just within the acting community, the voiceover community. This mindset of anti-union is a poison pill that has hit the American worker in general. Let's see, maybe one more question. Tabitha Mixon. I've only made it this far by being in the right place at the right time and opportunity. Your thoughts on right place, right time?
I think right place, right time is everything. Everything. Literally, I'm standing there at a liquor store counter.
Right place, right time, and preparation for it. Well, listen, my friend. Yep. I know, you have been such a great person in the chat room, asking such great questions. I've gotten to know you personally a little bit, but I always get to know people better when I have them right here. And you are just who you seem to be, which is a warm, calm, steady guy, easy smile, easy laugh, taking care of business.
Thank you, man. That means the world be coming from you.
I listened to your demos. You're going to do well. Just keep going. And I think there's something important in your story. And not just the story of husband, dad, but all the things you did and MS. You are overcoming, excuse me, you are overcoming something that a lot of people would have given up because of. So keep stepping.
Got me choked up here, man. Don't do that.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Terry, for agreeing to pop on today and have a chat. I know there are a lot of people at the same stage you are in their career, which is closer to the beginning than the end. and you've got a lot of good stuff ahead of you. So,
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me, Dave. It's like, I don't know, you don't even know what it means to me, brother.
all right. Well, means a lot to me too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Terry Briscoe, and yes, you're seeing me here in the upstairs bedroom, which is going to be for a little while. It's going to take a month or so to get that studio done, but this isn't a bad little room. And Ron will remind you that this and all the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. If you'd like to visit my spanking new, fresh website, davefennoy.com, please do. Kick the tires, hit the horn, take it for a spin. And my Twitter, X, is Dave Fennoy VO, and I guess I need to put my thread up there as well, which is at Dave Fennoy. All right, until next time, I want you guys to book something. See ya.